Joining me is the panel, former New South Wales Labor Treasurer Michael Costa and GXO Strategies Director Cameron Milner, former Chief of Staff to Labor leader Bill Shorten. Cameron, the budget, it hasn't been well received even in the media left. What do you make of it?
Well, it hasn't because it's not progressive, and that's why the media left don't like it. But listening to your own viewers and the people before, I mean, this could actually end up being a big, fat Albo bribe, this $300, because it's going to billionaires. I mean, his tax cut's already going to billionaires anyway. So the average Australian gets a $15 Big Mac meal, while the mega rich, his mates, get a bottle of Bollinger and an artisan baguette every week as a tax cut. So this guy is throwing cash in a desperate attempt to buy popularity. This guy's walking around with a fistful of 50s looking for love from the electorate. And it's a disgraceful look on the budget, and it's awful that so much money would be splurged, so sprayed everywhere, in a desperate attempt by this Prime Minister to be popular. And that's all it is.
Well, I've got to say, $300 will help me buy one bottle of Highland Park 18-year-old whiskey, but I can't say that I'm needing the taxpayer to help me with that one. But Michael, what do you make of the budget?
It's a mediocre budget from a mediocre government and a mediocre treasurer, I've got to say. Look, this $300, the reason it's going across the board, of course, is it's not designed primarily for cost of living help for the needy. It's designed to get down headline inflation so that they can argue that inflation's coming down. That's the only reason it's designed this way. You could easily have given more money to the needy and handed back as a direct tax rebate, but this is not directed at that. It's a manipulation of headline inflation. But I don't think the Reserve Bank is going to fall for that. They'll be looking at the underlying inflation rate and the structural deficit. There's $40 billion of additional spending going in this, and I nearly choked when I just heard Jim Chalmers claim that his budget was, putting downward pressure on inflation. I don't know where he studied economics, but clearly he has a very limited grasp of the macro situation. The fact of the matter, this is an inflationary budget. It has to be by its very nature. It doesn't address the structural deficit, which is about 1%, about $30 billion. That's going to go on and on and on. And the only surplus he can point to is the one that's being generated outside of his own economic activities. The bracket creep and the windfall on commodity prices. Mediocre budget. It's terrible. And this non-means testing, I mean, if you're a Labor person, it just really grates that they've structured it this way to get a short-term benefit on the inflation rate.
But Cameron, it seems to me that the two big giveaways, the $300 energy relief handout even to billionaires, that's to fix a Labor-caused problem, which is the green energy schemes, state and federal, which have driven up power prices, and of course the increase in the Commonwealth rent relief for people struggling with their rents. I think 10% increase in that. That is designed, of course, to fix the problem caused by immigration, mass immigration, which has caused so all these people to come in and compete for homes to rent or to buy. Now, but that $300 energy relief handout also strikes me as just a way to paper over this Labor disaster of a promise, that promise to cut out power bills by getting more wind and solar power. Remember this from before the election?
Households will benefit by $275 on average. Reducing power prices by $275. Prices by $275. $275. $275 a year. $275. $275 a year.
So the government chose to make the rebate $300, which sounds more than it's $275. But a journalist today, the Press Club, reminded the Treasurer that power prices, in fact, rose so much that even this $300 rebate will not cover the rise. Here she is and him.
So based on the latest default market offers for the next year, even with a $300 rebate, the average typical household power bill will be between $275 and $727 higher than that target. So is it time now to concede that that promise can't be kept?
Well, I think part of the answer to your question, Claire, is in the question itself. You are referring to a 2025 outcome based on a 2021 forecast. And we found a way to help people with their energy bills right now in 2024 when the pressure's on.
Cameron, are you convinced that that $275 promise was actually just a forecast? We just heard it wrong?
Not at all. And this is Labor's problem, is that the Prime Minister gets caught out lying. Our own polling said people think he's a liar. That's what people are saying out there. Look, this government's caught. They promise fiscal discipline. They promise to be restrained. This $300 rebate, the tax cuts, the money, the $40 billion, Michael, that you say has been squirted into the economy. This is the 3 a.m. fridge raid from the dieter who's gone for the mouthful of Cheese Whiz backed up with a tub of ice cream. I mean, these guys are gluttonous in terms of what they're doing with our taxpayers' dollars right now, Andrew.